labels have zero power. Zero power. No one can blow you up apart from you now. It shouldn't even be called a record label now. It should be called a community. And it's like, okay, how big can you grow your community? And I'm seeing this a lot. I'm seeing a lot of people going, if you're a local DJ, don't play for free. And I'm just like, no. The issue that comes with seeing the amount of money that can be made is that people come into it for the wrong reason. And I think sometimes it's not actually about performing or making the best possible music. It's about, oh wait, I see that person, I want to be famous. And I was just seeing like, I don't want to be that resident. I want to be the headliner. But it was just like, what are they doing that I don't? And it was like, build a brand and write music. That's when I stopped being a resident. I was like, no. Okay, you start working it out. You then get to that point where you know everything and you're working it out. And then you get to the point of success. And it's whether or not you're willing to get past that crash and burn stage. But you've also got to understand there's crash and burn stages every year.
Welcome back to the Off the Record DJ podcast. Special guest today, guys. British DJ, producer, Grammy nominated songwriter. Began his DJ career at age 9, had his first Ibiza residency at 17, with over 100 million streams globally and performances at biggest shows in the world, including Warehouse Project, Space, Coachella, EDC. He's recently released a debut album called Midnight Mass. Ladies and gentlemen, Will Clarke in the building.
Nailed that intro, mate.
I told you it was coming. Somebody in the comments last week said, why didn't you intro the guests? I'm like, I do.
It's always the worst when you have to like the intro is you have to perform.
It's
like the first time when you go on stage in front of thousands of people and you have to press play for that first time. Your brain, it almost just goes, let's just press the wrong button. It's weird. It's like Tourette's comes in straight away. How's it going?
I am good, mate. Yeah, thanks for coming. I know you're so busy. But we're going to get into your podcast in a bit, but it's great to talk to someone who has a podcast as well. We've got a shared mutual love for long conversation.
Oh, long conversations are so key. It's something that like the reason why I started my podcast is just like, especially in this industry, it's just a lack of long conversations of like, it's how you fix shit. It's how you work out shit. It's how people understand how things work and how you can teach and give back to the community. And like long conversations, being any type of artist, it was always like you're this mystique. There was always like a mystique era around people, and I was just like, this isn't how it should be. We all shit out the same hole.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, how can we start these long conversations? And I think it's like people in the industry actually like longer conversations, but we never get to talk to each other unless you're like really close friends with people where you can like have a proper conversation. It's like we don't get to have conversations with each other and work out, just generally relate. We all have the same issues.
I totally agree. And I think that, we had a conversation about the sort of amount of, I guess, views you would get from a podcast than you would for uploading a reel of you DJing or something like that. But then also, I think like it's a great point you bring up about, first of all, like when Instagram and stuff came along, it was like, I'm just going to show you the shiniest, best moments of my life in 15-second clips. And that became like the norm. And then I think as we're moving on, people want these longer conversations. TikTok and stuff is a bit more about being authentic and actually showing, the real side of like the industry or DJing or whatever you're doing in life. And I think the podcast an extension of that. So
I agree. I think still on social media, like the short form social media, I still feel like we don't talk about the actual. I think there's like clickbait clicks, right? It's like
just part of it.
You have 3 seconds to or even a second nowadays to capture somebody, and I think longer forms just for the people that just want to dig in.
Yeah, totally agree. I want to read you, to start off our conversation, just a tweet of yours and something you posted a few times, which is about your career, which is, I started my musical career at the ripe age of 9 by DJing in a local caravan park. A few years later, my dad pulled me out of the school to go see Faithless perform live. And that day confirmed for the rest of my life, it was all going to be about music. Now that was fulfilled. Pretty cool story. So what I want to get to is from age 9 there, and then I read that you had a Ibiza residency at 7. I want to sort of go back to 17. That would be impossible. What happened in between those sort of formative years?
you want to go back from
I want to go back to like where you discovered love and how you developed into sort of the person you are at such an early age.
So it was, I found Faithless. My brother brought back a CD, which was Dance 95. And it had, I think it had Insomnia or God is a DJ. So yeah, it started from there and I just fell in love with it. It's kind of that cliche, right? Somebody in your family brings something back and you get into it. And then I went on a DJ Academy. There used to be a touring DJ Academy in the UK called the DJ Academy. And I did like a 10-week course when I was 12/13.
Right. So like in person?
Yeah, in person with there was 30 of us on the course. So they had 3 classes, beginner, medium, advanced mixers. I didn't have a clue to mix. I was at the beginners. And it was really interesting because they didn't just teach you how to mix. They taught you how to mix, how to promote a night, how to record mixtapes, how to make flyers, actual full-blown business of DJing.
Nice.
You know how it was back then as well. You didn't have to write music. You could be a DJ. Don't get me wrong. You weren't earning a substantial living, but you could earn okay cash.
Yeah, nightlife was booming.
Exactly. Nightlife was great back then. There was clubs popping up left, right, and center. And then I got in touch with Sam Divine. So there was a local record shop. And in a local town called Weston-super-Mare, world's famous. And it was just predominantly hard house and jungle and drum and bass. It's the West Country. It's all they listen to.
It's ingrained.
Yeah. And I always went in there. There's Gareth, the guy that owned it, DJ Kickback. He was like a classic hard house DJ from the local area. And I always just asked him for I was playing funky soulful house then.
Right.
And he didn't really have a clue. He was like, dude, I don't know. There it is. Go find it in the shop.
Good luck.
And then one day I walked in and this girl called Miss Divine was in there and it was Sam Divine.
Nice.
So we became pretty close and she asked me to play in Ibiza when I was 16. So I went out there with my records and my parents.
Really?
Played some shows. When I was 17, I went out there for a month just after school. So I finished school straight to Ibiza. I really don't know how my parents let me.
Well, this is the best parents ever.
I know. They came.
So was this in a school holiday or after school?
So it's straight after school. So I'd finished school at 16.
Right, okay.
And it was in between going to college.
Yeah.
For anybody listening in the US, college isn't university. College is technically high school. So it's 16 to 18.
Yeah.
So my parents came out for a week. We found accommodation. And yeah, I just kind of walked around, got to know people. I had already played in a couple of places there. So I'd played in Hush, which was a classic Workers San Antonio, which was through Sam Divine. I was becoming closer with Jimmy that owned it. And then I was playing at a place called Orange Corner, which was in San Antonio. San Antonio back then was popping off. It was where all the Brits
It was, wasn't
went.
it? Yeah, initially.
Orange Corner now compared to what it was. Orange Corner, we used to throw raves in the day and it was slammed all the time. Now it's a cute little cafe on the beachfront. Same owners, but just it's just very different. And then a guy called Robin Chappell that was the resident then. Robin Chappell and Jamie Gittins. Robin took it over from Jamie, and the following year I got a call from him going, mate, I'm stopping Orange Corner. I've got a job in the industry in the UK. I need to stay. Can you take on the residency at Orange Corner? So this was before my 18th birthday.
Nice.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what this is. I was like, Mum, Dad, I'm moving to Ibiza for the summer. They were like, great. We're here.
Legend.
So I think my whole family came out for the first week and got accommodation. My best mate came out with me as well, and another mate that I used to work with. I used to be a lifeguard.
So
really? One of my other lifeguard mates came out. I got this job, as a resident, and I was playing 6 days a week for 12 to 14 hours a day.
Yeah, that is the
proper
the acid test of like, this is it.
And it was great because I didn't always play that long, but I was there. I was technically head of music and head of PR, which was ridiculous. I never sold a ticket in my life.
Right, okay.
But I had to employ the like ticket sellers. Right. So if anybody in Ibiza knows, like, you have ticket sellers at the front of places. It's changed very much so than what it used to be. But every bar used to have people to try and come in and also try and sell you tickets. And then I just employed my best mate just so we could hang out and whilst I played music. So nice. it was a great learning experience, but that was kind of when I really learned to DJ. Yeah. Like, you're playing from all day, so you're playing hip hop, reggae. So
you did the whole house, open format, playing to everyone. Yeah.
House, techno, all of it. And that was my Ibiza journey that started there, really.
Yeah. Do you think it helped just being like naive and just being like saying yes to everything and just going full in it?
It's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I think like the fact of not knowing the industry is the best way. I think, I don't know if you're like this, but I can get so jaded now, and I'm very fortunate that I've been in the industry for this long. And like, even you reading the intro out, it's like, yeah, we've done a lot, but you can get so jaded to just be like, fuck, I've still got so far to go. Whereas like Green Fingers at the beginning, you're just like, this is the best day of my life. I used to walk, because where my apartment was in Ibiza, I would walk like 2 miles every single day just to get to work. Like, and I'd go back and forth there like twice a day. So I'd go in the morning, go back, and go back. And it was just like, I didn't care.
No, you're like, this is amazing.
I got to play records all day and got paid for it. And I was 18. It was the day before my 18th birthday, my residency started.
It's crazy.
And I was earning 1,200 euros a month, which back then for an 18-year-old, I was fucking laughing. And I wasn't spending it. I was getting fed and watered there. I didn't drink alcohol really. Like, maybe at that I don't drink now, but I was drinking, maybe I drink once at the beginning of the summer, once at the end.
Right. Okay.
So I made a load of money.
That's amazing. Do you think that it really helped you out then, thinking that, I think that a lot of DJs will come into the industry and sort of look for a pathway to, making a living or trying to make a career, earn money, pay bills. Do you think that because of your sort of journey, there was no doubt in your mind that this is something you could do for forever?
Yeah. 100%. It's actually like, the older I get, and we're not old, but we are
wiser.
The older we get, the more it dawns on me of how do I carry on doing this.
Sure.
And I think that's the life pressures, right? Like, I'm sure we all have that. I don't know, how old are you?
38.
Yeah. So like, we all get older, right?
Yeah.
And
priorities change.
Exactly.
Shift.
And you're like, I want to do this for the rest of my life, but how?
Hell yeah.
And I think back then, again, you're like naive, don't have a fucking clue. Like, let's crack on. What about you? How did it start for you?
Yeah, very similar. So our story with most of the guys at Crossfader are very similar. We were sort of resident DJs, so we come into it very young, like 16, 17. And when you get when somebody pays you to DJ for the first time, it's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, you pay me to like do this thing that I just love to do.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, the club scene was booming at the time. So it was very easy or very quick to get 6 nights a week in your local city, and then you start to branch out into other cities. And then all of a sudden, you're making great money at 18, 19, that your friends around you are, I can't even, struggling to like pay the bills. So it's a very similar like situation. And then you get to, like I say, your priorities change. You get to a point of, okay, well, can I keep doing this all the time at like, 25, 26? And do I want to be getting in at 6 a.m. and all that kind of thing? I think it plays into today's landscape shifting a little bit into it. The pathway doesn't have to be now, DJing 7 nights a week at residencies. The landscape's changed and the DJ industry's changed, and we see it with our students in our community. Although I think 75% of clubs have closed in the UK or whatever.
It's crazy.
The rise in, electronic artists and DJing, just the term like DJing on Google Trends has like just gone up and up. We see it with, you know, people taking up our courses and things like that. And the journey to being a DJ is just so different now, which is like for the better, probably. The festival raves, the sort of influencer marketing side of it, the community raves, right? So, you know, you can start a YouTube channel, get your friends around and start a business from that.
I love that.
I love it.
I love that. I think the art of a resident DJ it's changed completely. And I'm seeing it more and more, like just friends that just come to, that I've met in the industry that like come to parties and they're like, oh, I want to become a DJ, and they can literally go online. There's a controller right there.
There is.
Like you can go and learn to mix very easily. The art of mixing's changed very much so.
Big time.
That I think there's pros and cons to that though, right? And I think the pros is that anyone can do it now. It's not your like
super skilled like vinyl. It's just quite hard to barrier to entry is quite high.
Yeah, it was also like very geeky. Like, and there was this. This isn't me being sexist, but it was just a very dick heavy.
Geeky, techie,
really geeky. Like it's like the gaming industry back in the day. Now it's not. Now it's open to everybody, right? You couldn't make money as a DJ, so you wouldn't. And I think that the issue that comes with seeing the amount of money that can be made is that people come into it for the wrong reason. And I think sometimes it's not actually about performing or making the best possible music. It's about, oh wait, I see that person, I want to be famous. And it's the worst fucking gig to try and be famous.
It's like you say, when it wasn't cool, it was like the pop artists and the rappers and stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, I want to be like that, because there was no DJs like that. Whereas now the top DJs and stuff are, I can't remember the stat, but the percentage of headliners that it's just standard festivals has gone up over 30%, like headlining like your standard festival. And
I think also part of that is because of just generally the cost of touring.
Sure.
Right. So it's like, to tour a band nowadays is way more expensive than becoming a DJ yourself and just playing the same record. At the end of the day, a lot of the fans just want to hear your music, right? And however you perform that is however you choose to. And I think being able to DJ it is. Look at Grimes at Coachella. Look at like that Coachella. I think that was all framed.
Do you reckon?
Like, man. Like, because she smashed it the week after.
Yeah.
So it was like, it's a lot of these things. I'm just like, well, you were the talk of the show for
the whole weekend, the first weekend, whatever it was.
And then everyone turned up, and no one spoke about it after because it was just a PR thing. But I think that's genius, right? But that is also the world we live in. It's like capturing attention. You know this better than I do.
Of course.
It's all about capturing attention. So it is as although it is amazing that everyone can do it, and I think more people should do it. Like I generally think, but for me, it's like just work out why you're trying to do it.
Yeah, I think so. Because that'll keep you there for longer as well. Like, you know, because if you get in trying to be famous and then it doesn't happen straight away, you're just going to go back to your day job or whatever you were doing before.
Yeah, like how many times did you play for free for years? And I'm seeing this a lot. I'm seeing a lot of people going, oh, you like, if you're a local DJ, don't play for free.
I don't get that.
And I'm just
I don't get that.
Well, no.
Yeah. It's
because
insane.
You have to get good.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you go to university? You pay thousands and thousands of pounds or dollars, or hundreds of thousands of dollars if you're in the US or whatever, wherever you are listening to learn. Like that, playing for free is your university.
Totally. I was listening to your podcast with, I think it was Clooney, and you was on about the sort of the change in what the DJ is when you go and see them. I remember I think you were saying, like, you know, you go and listen to somebody like Sasha and Digweed who take you on like a musical journey from start to finish, and you'll be there like immersed in it. Whereas now you think it's more like you're going to see the artist play the music, and that is becoming the separator of the different artists and how they deliver that. Yeah. Is that what you think?
Yeah, totally. It's a performance now.
Yeah.
I think it's like you're expected to do intros, you're expected to make edits, you're expected to play your biggest records. And I don't think that's an issue. I think it just depends where you're playing and what type of venue. Like if you're playing a 6-hour set, you're not going to be able to do that, right? Like all the time. If you're playing an hour set at a festival, well, you have to. You're a DJ still.
Yeah.
You're a performer. It's like, imagine going to see the Rolling Stones and they don't play a single one of their hits, and they just play stuff off
other people's hits.
Exactly. It's like
that would be crazy.
It would be ridiculous, and I think that's especially where the level where a lot of the artists are now. Imagine like. There's some artists that are selling serious tickets.
Oh my God, yeah.
Imagine you went to a 10,000 cap. Yeah. Like, look what Dom Dollar's doing and John's doing.
Sphere
like,
and all that stuff.
30,000 people, and you don't play any one of your hits. You're gonna have no one's gonna buy a ticket to see you again.
Of course, yeah.
It's a business.
Yeah. Tell me back when you was in Ibiza and you was doing that early residency, and you was like, "This is for me." When did that transition or that realization happen when you started to lean into making music? Was that almost instantly, or was you doing it at the same time?
I was doing it before. I started making when I was 14, trying. But it didn't really clock to me until my last year. I started taking it more serious at 18. And then my last year in Ibiza, which was like, I think I was 21, I can't fully remember. I was like, it was me. I'd moved residencies. I was doing other parties on the island, and I was just seeing like, I don't want to be that resident.
Right.
I want to be the headliner.
The artist.
And how do I do that? And I'm warming up for all these artists. I'm speaking to all these artists. But like, what is the difference between me and them? Like, I can DJ just as well as them, if not better. And that's not me being egotistical. Like, I'm playing for hours.
Yeah, you've done the 10,000 hours.
In a week. And so it's like, it wasn't that, but it was just like, what are they doing that I don't? And it was like, build a brand and write music. And I think that's when I stopped being a resident. I was like, no, I can't do it. They were out there at the time, the place I was playing at, I loved it. It wasn't Orange Corner, it was a different place called Kenya. They were going through some changes. Ibiza was going through some changes. And they were trying to pay you less, and whilst they were making more money and wanting more hours. And I'm like, guys, like, come on. So yeah, I was like, okay, Ibiza's over for me. Let's go into the studio.
What happened from there then?
I came back. Luckily, I was fortunate enough that I could work for my parents. My parents own a drug and alcohol rehab. Yep. So completely worlds apart.
The opposite of Ibiza.
Yeah, completely the opposite. Went and worked for them full time, doing night shifts and day shifts. And yeah, every working hour I didn't have to work, I'd go into the studio. And that was when I signed to Dirty Bird when I was 24. Right. So 3 years. It was probably 2 years of literally like, I split up with my girlfriend. I just went absolute hermit mode of just being, I used to go hang out with my cousin like once a week, and we'd go to cinema on Orange Tuesdays. Can you remember that? Orange Tuesdays.
Wednesdays?
Was it Wednesdays or Tuesdays? Buy one, get one free.
Yeah.
Fucking sold. Yeah. And that was it.
Yeah.
And I had a few moments where people were playing my records. I had a record called Big Booty, which was the first time not everyone, but a lot of people. That was when like Eats Everything, MK, Seth Troxler, Jamie Jones, when they were all coming up and were having like their first big moments, and they were all playing these records. Right. And I was like, okay, we're onto something there. And then I cut a long story short, I signed to Dirty Bird 2014. Yeah. I was 24, and that's when I started touring full time.
And then what happens when that sort of thing happens to you? So you've signed a label. I guess you're sort of trying to, are you making so much music? Are you just really hounding labels and whoever will take it, or were you sort of selective at the time, or so you was approaching?
It was actually really interesting because it's a really good question. When Big Booty came out, I really wanted to sign to Dirty Bird. Dirty Bird at the time, I loved the music. Crazy. Like, it was just fucking amazing.
It was.
And I couldn't get to Claude. Couldn't get to him. He was, again, it wasn't like today where you could just DM somebody. Like, just to get his email was fucking impossible. Okay. And at the time, Jamie had asked me for an EP for Hot Creations, But he'd also asked me to remix one of his Hot Natured records, which I can't remember which record it was. Okay. So he asked me to do that. And then I started like trying to make music that fit Jamie Jones and fit Hot Creations. And it just ruined me, like completely ruined me. And I quit for like 6 months, completely stopped. I was literally cold. Like stone cold. Like I was going to open a club in Bristol. Right. I had the keys to a venue and was just like, let's try and work this out. Luckily, like a month into like, I think it was about a month of like working on the club and putting plans together, the owner of the venue was like, we need an extra 20,000 rent a year. And I'm like, have the keys back, son. So then, I went back into it. And it was, for me, it was like, okay, I really need focus. Like, who am I as an artist? Where do I see myself? And at that time, it was Dirty Bird. Yeah. So it was just like one track. And I literally set everything on there.
Did you?
And didn't do it. I didn't try to do anything else. Like, it was literally just like Dirty Bird or nothing.
Yeah.
Which was when I signed in 2014. And it was, I then 2015, I think it was 2015 or 2016, I was the most released artist on Dirty Bird because I was just writing so much. For them, And Barclay, Claude Von Stroke, was just like, dude, you're just sending me so much music. And I'd literally send him every week, I'd send him new music. And it was very different then, right? It was...
How so?
Music wasn't... Having a release was a big thing.
Sure.
Whereas having a release now, you have to.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah. I get that.
Because if you don't have new music coming out, like the algorithm's not in your favor, like you have to feed into shit, right? And you have to have like, a record doesn't last as long as it used to. No way. Like we all know that. There used to be tunes of the summer. Of course. And I'm not saying now's better or then's better. I'm not being that old man, but just back then.
It's just different.
Very different. And the value of a record.
I was going to say, was there more value on, I guess, you get a track signed by a label and then you'd be like, great, they'll go and promote it for me. Whereas now the whole emphasis is on the artist to have all their socials in a row to push it.
Labels have zero power.
There we go.
Zero power.
Right.
And I think the only thing that labels have, if it's a good label, and 99% of the labels don't have this, is community. And that's the one thing that Dirty Bird did really well.
Yeah.
Really well.
That makes sense, yeah.
And even back then, there wasn't many labels that I could have signed to that would have been able to put me into a community that would generate a touring career. And they did. And like, I'm not part of the Dirty Bird anymore. I love and respect them to bits. They were part of my career.
Yeah, sure.
If you know what I mean. And yeah, I think at the time, Anjuna was doing their bits. Hot Creations was doing their bits. Defected,
bit different, but yeah,
a bit different.
Yeah.
But like, there wasn't really many actual crews.
Yes.
That were like that you could build a career out of, and I think now there's even less because Dirty Bird can't do that anymore. Hot Creations is slightly different because Jamie's got Paradise, but just because you sign on Hot Creations doesn't mean you're going to get booked on Paradise.
And is this all to do with sort of you need Spotify playlists to basically make or break a track, and it's a lot different with working with algorithms, or is it a bit more complex, I guess?
I think it was for a period. Okay. I think during COVID you had, I don't know whether Spotify was boosting the numbers or it was just the fact that more people were listening, but streams were more then, right? And streams meant more. Like if you had a club record that did 1 million streams, you're laughing. Right. Like everyone's like, this is fucking doing well. For like, sure. What's going on? If you know what I mean. If you have a record that does 1 million streams now, it's like,
yeah, next.
and the thing is, it's even harder to get that nowadays. Yeah. Okay. It's even way harder. Which, that's a whole nother thing. I think again, I think it's going back to the community building.
Yes.
And I think it's like, if you can have 50 people that support you,
big time,
that's more valuable than anything.
It's the age of the super fan, isn't it? And I've noticed from your social media compared to other DJs of your level that I follow, that your audience is so engaged. Like your posts are really engaged, and it seems like you have this like one-to-one connection with like a lot of people, which is, I guess, what you're sort of getting at.
Yeah, I think it's so important. Like, again, it's like having long form conversations.
Yeah.
It's those are the people that pay your bills. And I know it sounds really, it's people may be like, well, you're looking at them as a paycheck. No, it's not. It's like we trade.
Yes.
It's a transaction, right? It's like I give you something that I do and you guys like it, so you pay. And that's simple. It's just it's art, and it's finding whoever wants that art. And I think social media is interesting because you can do everything yourself now. Does it mean you're going to have hundreds and hundreds of millions of streams and sell millions and millions of tickets over the years? Maybe, maybe not. You don't know. But if you can build a core audience, that's where you start from.
100%.
Yeah.
What does the sort of, I guess, ecosystem for somebody like you, how does it work where you're mixing things between being in studio, making records, trying to sign them, building an audience, going out and touring? Like, have you got a bit of a team now? And how does it work with, let's say you want to promote a tune, you've got to have visuals at the show, you've got to have visuals from the studio, you've got to then have the track, you've got to then send them to labels. What does the ecosystem like look like for you on maybe like a quarterly basis?
I used to have hair on my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm really fortunate. Over the years, I've learned of like how to build a decent team, and I think it's a forever learning. I'm pretty sure it's the same with you guys here. Like, it's like you bring on somebody, or they're not the best, let's get rid. You bring on somebody and you learn to how to be a better boss.
Totally agree.
And I think realistically, is that saying like it rots from the head down, right? And if you're a shit person to be around, you're gonna have shitty people eventually, and it won't work. So for me, it was just like, how do I build the best like culture in my team? So my team consists of, like, my immediate team consists of Ryan, a guy called Ryan King, who's my manager. I met him, I got put in touch with him through Chris Lake, actually. He used to be Chris Lake's agent.
All right.
He used to be an agent at WME. Decided to stop being an agent and then became a manager, and I was his first client.
Nice.
But it was more of a relationship basis. It was like I'd had some interest in management previously.
Right, okay.
It's being diplomatic.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, if I want to build this with somebody, there has to be a level of a relationship where we can be completely honest with each other. We can have a deeper conversation. He cares about my personal life and I care about his.
Sure.
So we started talking. At that time, I was like interviewing a bunch of managers. And I was like, dude, if you want to manage me, you got to fly to the UK. Right. You got to meet my family.
Yeah.
Like, my family are one of the most important part of my life. I don't talk about any of it online, but it's a huge part.
Sure.
Do that, get involved. And so he did. And I'd like to think we're going to work together forever.
Yeah. Love that.
And then from that, he's at 360 now, which is one of the biggest management companies in the world.
Yeah.
Out of that, he has a team. So Spencer, his assistant, and Sophie, who's head of marketing, who does lots of work on marketing throughout all of the company. And then I have an assistant called Alicia. She's fucking the best. Right. Like, hands down the best.
Love that.
She does like all my booking flights, all my, well, you guys spoke to her.
Yeah, we did.
She does everything.
Yeah. Outreach, admin, all that
everything.
kind of stuff.
And we also do a bit of, like, for the podcast. She does all my social media for my podcast.
Nice.
She posts all my actual social media as well.
Love that.
We did have a social media team as well, an external team. We're now bringing that in-house. And that, obviously, my agents, Zach Berkovitz at Wasserman, he's the best.
Yep.
He does North America, South.
It doesn't get bigger than that.
Area.
Yeah. they're huge.
Yeah, and then Ryan Saltzman at Bullet does my Europe stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually a small team.
Yeah.
And I'd like to keep it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, it's just I think you can be more effective.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. I'd love to have maybe one more person on, which is like full-time content capturing.
Would you?
I'd love to have a videographer with me.
So the minute when you go to shows, are you just booking somebody locally
local
or
talent?
Yeah.
With the album that we just put out in November, I did have somebody come with me the whole live tour. We built a live tour out, and that was great. But I'd love to have somebody. I've been umming and ahhing for a long time because it's a
big driver
money.
of it's expensive, but it's also so important. It's so hard.
It's that catch-22. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
realistically, you're looking at like double flights, double hotel rooms, plus a wage, plus per DMs. Like you're talking a lot of investment, which I think I need to do. It's just working out how to fund it.
So that's on a sort of longer term goal plan.
Yeah. So that's the team, and it's the one thing that I've always said is you have to find the right team, but don't rush into it.
No, because you have to figure out all the nuances yourself first, right? And you have to figure out how the industry works, who the people are that you want to trust and lean into, your tribe. Like, do you want to be on Dirty Bird or do you want to be on, Defected? You have to figure that out before you can even start to think about anything like that.
Totally, man. And I think this whole industry still is relationship based.
Big time.
Unless you're randomly like blew up on social media and you have this fucking huge following.
Influx. Yeah.
Everyone will come to you because you have the power. But like, let's be honest, 95% of us don't do that.
Yeah.
It comes slowly.
Slow grind.
Slow grind. Which in my opinion is more effective and more in the long term.
Yeah.
But I think a team is so important. But relationships is everything. And as the artist, you have to learn how to do everything. You really have to. And you'll be shit at it. There's going to be so many things. I'm so shit at certain things.
Oh, for sure.
Like writing emails. I'm so shit at it. But like realistically, I am the driving force.
Yeah, of course.
So if it's signing music, Ryan will send music out. But a lot of the time it's me. A lot of the time it's me starting those conversations. A lot of it's me going, I want to start a label, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. Can you go do that, or this, that? It's got to be coming from me, and I've got to be willing to do it to expect them to do it.
Right. When you've started a label, right? What would somebody coming into the industry? Why would somebody want to start their own label? Because somebody, an up and coming producer, would be like, I want to make songs. Yeah. Why would I not just give my song to Defected and they can go and blow me up? Why would somebody start their own label who's just coming up?
Because Defected can't blow you up.
Right.
Like, and I don't mean that, and that's no disrespect to Defected.
Yeah.
It's no one can blow you up apart from you now.
Right.
And I don't think it's necessarily the label part of it. To me, is more. It shouldn't even be called a record label now.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at.
It should be called a community.
Yeah, cool.
And it's like, okay, how big can you grow your community, and then offer that community to other artists, right? The reason why I started a record label was because I was writing music that didn't really sound like anything else. And that's not me saying I'm fucking
special, like,
a genius. I was just writing music that other record labels didn't want to sign.
Sure.
And I really believed in the records. So I was like, okay, well, I have got to a level of my career where I'm fortunate enough that I can build a team around it. So let's try it. And they were pretty much all my most successful records when I started self-releasing.
That's interesting.
We then did an album deal with Armada, which is completely separate. So I stopped releasing for a while, self-releasing for a while, but we're probably going to go back to it now.
Love that. One thing I found really interesting listening to a couple of your podcasts with a few artists, the Clooney one especially, was you were talking about like your biggest hits, and you've had Rock With Me and Hallelujah have done millions and millions of streams. The interesting thing to me, and this is when we've had other guests in and stuff, nobody can really pinpoint how the tracks blow up?
I can.
Oh, go on. I'd love to hear you break it down, because it sounded like you were trying to figure it out or had no reason or something like that. But go on. What is your, what would be the sort of source?
I don't think there's ever a reason in a sense of like, we're in the gambling game. Yeah. We're not in...
Nobody has a blueprint, otherwise everyone would do it.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. Like, this isn't like step by step, this is how you run your career. Like, we're working on 90% luck, especially nowadays. It's where it used to be probably 50-50. Now it's 90% luck, because anyone can fucking blow up, right? The difference is can you sustain? So let's say, for instance, Rock With Me, right? Put it out on Patrick Topping's Trick. This was before they did the deal with Ministry. So it didn't really have any like big drivers behind it. Rock With Me, so I'd put an EP out with Patrick probably 4 months before called Let's Rave, proper like ravey record. I sent him a new record called Techno Tree, which actually came out on my label. And he was like, I like it, but can you do something like Let's Rave? And I was like, okay. I literally wrote it in like 45 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes straight after that text I got from him. And I was like, I probably won't send it to him now, because he'll be like, he's not spent any time on this.
Yeah.
So I sent it to him in like 2 weeks, and he was like, fuck yeah, this is great.
All right.
Anyway, he plays it a few times. Yeah, want to sign it. Cool. I play it. Yeah, it works in a club. Like, club music we're not geniuses. It's fucking simple, right? And it's kick, bass line, and a hook, and maybe a vocal. It's not rocket science. Comes out, does about 250,000 streams, dies off completely. We're like, okay, it's done all right for a straight up club record.
Yeah, pretty low lift, like.
It's like it's like 3 notes and a massive kick drum and a sample that everyone can find. Everyone knows, and then all of a sudden, like 3-4 months later, it then gets picked up on Techno Bunker on Spotify, put at number 1 on Techno Bunker. We were like, okay, it's bringing in a few streams, and then it stays on number 1 for a month.
Fucking hell.
And then you get some like bigger third-party playlists that put it on theirs. And generally the third-party playlist, if it's a big playlist, they generate way more streams.
Cool.
And that's where it started.
That's where it is.
And it's the same. It's generally 1 or 2 moments, and then it just kind of snowballs. Like it's that, just that record alone. My streams aren't massive generally, but like that record is probably half of my streams, and then all the other records, or then combined. Hallelujah, then all my other records combined. So it's like, Hallelujah it's a classic sample.
Classic.
Right? It's Candy Staten.
Love it. Yeah.
70s record. And that was an interesting time, because I wrote it in 2019. It was old. Like every DJ was playing it. And that's the difference. Every DJ was playing it. So why was it successful? Yeah. Okay. It dropped April 2020, which was the worst time to release a record.
Yeah.
But it was the best time to release a record, because at that time, Housework, the Spotify playlist. Yeah. The guy that ran the playlist at the time was like, Hallelujah, everyone needs to feel good.
All right, okay.
Let's put you on. Let's put you on front cover. Every DJ's been playing this.
That's crazy.
Let's put you on the front cover, and it was on there for like 5-6 weeks at number 1.
Was it? Nice.
So like, it was a case of that's just luck. That's not like I can't.
You can't go boom. I can't do this.
No one can turn that on. And also, I was very fortunate. Like, those are the days when Spotify playlists actually generated streams. Like, most of Spotify editorial, unless you're on the massive ones, and unless you're in the top 20,
right,
it's generating that.
Here or there.
Yeah. So, I think there's always a point, right, where one thing. I think when Clooney, going back to the Clooney episode on the podcast, he was saying like it was when he did that TikTok with, I can't remember.
Was it Sipping Yak? Sorry, it blew up. Yeah.
He uploaded it, and that was the moment, right?
Boom.
And I think there is always a moment. You Take Me Higher, which was my first release on my label, which was January 2020. Before that, Fisher was playing it every set. And there was a lot of videos poking around. A lot of the industry were like, wow, Will's changed his sound. Like, this is fucking good. And that's not me being big-headed.
No.
It is what it was. And it was like, okay, cool, we can get into this. And they did, if you know what I mean. We were at front cover of Dance XL on Apple. We got Essential New Tune. And like, just all these things add up into the luck.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, you got to be in a position to be lucky, but you can't really pinpoint a moment in time.
But
yeah,
I totally agree, and I was very fortunate at that time because you're kind of, without sounding too woo-woo, you're kind of coming from a privileged position.
Yeah,
in the sense of at that time in the industry, I had built up enough relationships and enough. I wouldn't even have classed myself as a credible artist, but I had the ability to reach certain people, right?
Sure.
I had the ability to reach some of the biggest artists. They were mates and they liked the music. So there's part of that. But now, the difference is now, let's just say, for instance, you hadn't DJ'd before, you were playing your first gig at some festival, right? You got lucky, right? You knew somebody, you played it. Somebody filmed you, or your videographer filmed you, or you did a selfie video, or you had a GoPro at the front of your decks. You post that on TikTok, you do 5 million views. It's the same luck.
It's the same thing, yeah.
It's the same luck.
100%. So interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Like you say, you could blow up, but it's about putting yourself in the position of having the luck. But it's so interesting, and there's no sort of pinpoint thing in it. But what you said, I've seen it millions of times. Yeah, it's crazy, and like not even just like you can post something today and it'll do 1,000 views, and then you can post it tomorrow and it'll do 1 million. Change the sound, change the hook or whatever. And what I really sort of like to lean into, like up and comers or students of ours or people like that, is I think that now you have to look at it like a skill, just like DJing, like music production, like networking. And I think what a lot of people really lack is the networking, speaking to people, putting himself out there, because everyone fucking hates rejection. It's awful. And, you send 100 tracks to labels and you get nothing or a no, even worse, a no. And, on social media, you're like, okay, I'm going to be consistent, and you're posting for 2-3 months and nothing's really happening. The consistency thing is a skill. It's like a muscle memory almost, and it's hard. It's like hard to become good at networking whilst you're trying to be a DJ, whilst you're trying to put music out and build relationships. And I don't think people look at, I guess, social media as marketing, look at it like a skill. They obviously want to come in, they want to be the headline artist, they want to make music, go to the stage, and that's it. And they don't really treat it like another skill that you can get good at and like enjoy. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. There's pros and cons to where we're at of being artists, right? You have to do everything, but that is also a pro and a con. And I think the cons we all know, right? Like, not everybody wants to do social media. Like, we all know it. We've heard it so many times, right? Even me, sometimes I'm like, why the fuck am I posting this? Like, I know this isn't going to do well, but I'm fucking posting it. It's like when promoters ask me to post flyers. I'm like, why? It does fuck all.
Nobody likes
like,
that, yeah.
Nobody cares. Like, you're the promoter, go promote. Like, we're promoting our way of how we do it. Don't tell me how to promote the show. I'll promote it in my way. But I think there's so many more benefits to it than negatives if you're willing to work out your voice as a human being and as an artist. And it's so hard, but it's exactly the same as writing music. It's like one day it will work and the next day it won't. And out of 100 records, one of them might be good. Out of 100 posts, one of them might be good. And you'll then get to a point where you'll actually, if you're in it for the right reason, you'll go, doesn't really fucking matter. It's like, okay, yeah, some posts are going to do really well. Some records are going to do really well. Some posts are going to do absolute dog shite.
Yeah.
Same with records. And it took me a while for me to get into that mindset of like not caring about how well a post does. It's more so what am I putting out there, and I'm still in that. I'm in this.
Don't think it ever stops, does it?
No, and I'm trying to really assess it now on okay, how do I gain into the algorithm of what actually do people want?
Yeah,
do people want?
What do people want from me?
That's it.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you realize that. And I haven't worked that out yet. I'm still working that out. And I'm sure you guys have these conversations every day in the office.
Yeah. And then it clicks. And then 2 months later, it changes. I remember it used to be, filming at your festival, back of the head, crowds in the air. And then somebody just went, no, we want to see your face. And now it's like you got this poor videographer in the middle of a festival with a camera getting beer all over their heads just for a fucking viral moment. I'm like, you deserve more money, bro.
Yeah. Mochak changed that.
He changed that, right? Yeah.
I had him on my podcast.
Yeah. And what did he say about it?
Again, a classic example of like he was doing the rounds in Brazil. Like he was a reasonably sized resident DJ, and then he posted a video on TikTok. It did shit, so he deleted it. Posted exactly the same video on Instagram, blew the fuck up.
Wild.
And that's there's not. Hit records are very important as an artist's career. Very, very, very important. And I don't care what anyone says. A big record, and I'm not saying you need a number one.
No.
I'm saying a hit record in your scene.
Yes.
Right?
Will carry you forever.
Can do.
Yeah.
But being able to have that hit record is, you never know, right? It's timing, quality, luck. It's gambling again. Same with social media. Like, he didn't have any hit records, Mochak. He still hasn't had any hit records.
Not necessarily, no, yeah.
If you know what I mean. But he had a hit social media
post. Yeah, it's
post.
Like, it's just his face that's viral. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, I love this guy.
Exactly. But that's the thing. It's okay, what he was like, okay, who am I as a human being? Yeah. And he was like, well, I'm really into hip hop. I used to be a break dancer. I like to move around. I like to be very animated in how I am in the DJ booth. Well, let's just capture that and let's post it. And it worked.
We were out at IMS and he was doing a talk.
Yeah.
And he said basically the same thing. He's like, you are fucking me and I'm not you.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be jumping around like I am, but you have to be yourself.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're just going to get like annoyed or frustrated. And even when you do blow up, then you're going to have to change and people are going to be like, well, you've changed kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
Super interesting. Not many, I can probably name on my hand how many electronic artists have made an album. When and why?
Don't fucking do it.
When and why would you do that? No, when and why was that? Is that always been something in your mind, or
always?
Has it?
Since day one.
Yeah.
Since when I saw Faithless.
Has it? Yeah.
Like, I'm a bit old. I'm not, but I am. But I grew up in the album era where I'd buy an album from not just an electronic artist, from rock artists, from every artist in the world. It was album culture. And I tried to do one in 2018.
Did you?
Wrote a lot of music and it was just not good enough. And my head wasn't in it. I wasn't doing it for the right reasons. It was like, can I pull a bunch of tracks together and call it an album? I was like, well, it's not. An album lasts forever.
Yes.
It's on your platform. It's everywhere forever. It's the one thing that even if nobody's ever heard of you and they find you, they're going to go to an album at some point, right?
Totally.
So, yeah, it was 2021 when me and Ryan sat down and were like, I really want to do an album. He's like, fucking do it. Go do it. It's hard nowadays. It's really hard in a sense of like releasing an album in this current climate. And also it goes back to what we were talking about, social media and all of that. This album was never made to be a DJ friendly album.
Okay.
It was never. Like
yeah.
I could play some of the records. Some of the records I couldn't fucking play myself.
No.
We're in the process of releasing a remix album, which is way,
yes, I was going to ask you about that.
way more DJ friendly, which is for the club. But I think again, that was just me being selfish as an artist.
You think?
100%, man. Like that album, I made that album because that's what I want to listen to.
Okay.
And I love the records.
That's great.
Absolutely love the records.
I do as well. I'm not even just saying that because you're here. Like it is a total album feel record. It's not like here's a house DJ and you're going to hear 12 house songs. It's nothing like that. It's like, first of all, it's like got that bicep glue feel, and then second of all, I'm like in a church, and like it's that like anthemic. And you said that like clubs are like churches anyway, aren't they? It's like 100%. This religious experience that you have.
Yeah. And for me, it was. I think there was a slight bit of oversight for me on because it's a really hard battle that I'm still playing in my head. I love the album so much, and did it perform well? No. Like, and that's just me being completely honest.
And is that just comparatively to some of your releases, or was it an expectation? Or
I had huge expectations.
Okay.
Well, not huge expectations. I had expectations of it would stay. I'd be able to achieve what I'd achieved so far in a streaming sense. Okay, so I've got a few 10 millions. I got a 20 million. I got a 15 million. Couple millions. I'd like to have got to that level with that. But then I was also probably naive to go, actually, no, you know what? Like none of these fit where they were, and also where anything else is. Like we live in this world now in music, especially when we're relying on, well, everything, radio, Spotify, Apple, all of it, everything needs to be packaged. And if you're not fitting in that package, and that's not me saying like, oh, I made this super unique album. I didn't. It was just a Will Clarke album, but it didn't fit in any of those boxes so that somebody could market it and package it in its own nice little thing and go,
give it to that community. Like, this is for you.
And realistically, I think if I look at it and I achieved the thing that most people want to achieve is writing an album and the process, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was amazing. The most fun I ever
How long does it from start to finish?
I'm really fucking anal and like it in a sense of I gave myself a year and it was literally I started April 2022, finished April 2023. And then it was the process of signing. I didn't want a record label before to like try and A&R me into what the album should sound like. So the goal was write the album, then go get it signed, then release. Yep. But that whole process, the industry changed. Okay. The industry then turned more into a packageable place where playlists you had to sound like that. So loads of things, loads of factors.
Yeah.
Would I do it differently? Probably.
Would you?
Yeah, I probably would.
But you're able to tour it out as a live show, and you've been doing a few of them, right?
Yeah, we did 6 shows. Again, exactly the same feeling about it. It's like amazing feeling, achieved something amazing. Would I do it again? Yes. But realistically, touring, me rocking up at a club with my USBs or hard drives and a videographer. Let's say, for instance, that may cost me, let's really talk money.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
Like that might cost me a couple of grand. Get there, get somebody else there, etc., etc.
Yes.
Times that by 7.
Right.
And that's a live tour.
Yeah.
And more. Plus the whole building the show. Plus the visuals of the show.
Yeah, because you had loads of synthesizers and stuff on stage.
I had everything. And that was down. That was like level down.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was like that was 1.0. Like 1.2 was going to be crazier.
Was it?
But you've also got to realize is like you then have to build tour out of that, and then you got to sell tickets, and you got to do all of that, and you also have to do rehearsals, and then you this, that, and it became, doing the shows were amazing. Like, the stress of it was selling the tickets.
Sure.
And that's where it got to the point, like the Thursday before the first show, we were in rehearsals. The visual people, I don't want to throw them under the bus because they're great, but they delivered the visuals for the show way late. So the rehearsals we spent and they were wrong. So we spent the rehearsals syncing up the visuals
to the show.
So like I had sound, I had my tech, which is side of stage tech. I had front of house tech. I had lighting tech. I had videographer / photographer. So I had a team of 4 people. I also had my manager, my assistant. So there were 6 of us all in these rehearsals, and all we spent was, we set everything up and we did a few run throughs, but all the time was spent was doing visual setup.
Was it?
That, just those 2 cost me nearly $10,000 just to get those 2 rehearsal days done.
Really?
So like, you're like, the visuals cost me $30,000. So before you even start that, like, it's just an extreme amount of cost, which if I had a hit record, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just facts. It's like, sometimes as artists, we try things way too early. And I learned so much. And it's like, okay, well, this is no disrespect to the fans as well. I love them to bits, but I don't think they would have cared of me doing a live show or a DJ show.
It's interesting that I feel that way when you go to see a DJ show like a Disclosure or a Fred Again or something, and I wonder who really cares if it's live or not. Because if it's a huge show, you can't see. So
exactly.
It's one of them. But yeah, it's very, and also it plays into that what we were talking about earlier, where if you're a band, you've got 7 people or whatever, and this might be another reason why DJs are headlining all over the place, because it's a lot cheaper.
It's one of the only reasons. Like, okay, you can pay. Let's just say, for instance, like Coachella. Okay, you can build a whole lineup of DJs, right? And how much does that cost you? Not much, right? Your teams are front of house, lighting, side stage, or like tech. You don't need like 20 guys or girls like setting up the stage for bands left, right, and center. It just costs less. Yeah, you might have to pay. You're probably paying them less as well. A live show, you get paid more because people understand how much it takes.
Goes into it.
So it's like, that's why DJs are taking over. And it's also so much more okay now. Like, DJ culture wasn't part of everyday culture. Now it is. Like, everyone's a DJ. It's great.
It's amazing. Yeah,
it's great.
I want to talk to
Thanks to you guys as well.
it's all us.
Go buy a course.
When you came in, talk about your podcast. I've listened for a couple of years now, but it's a really, there's not a lot of people in the industry doing it, which is like, I guess, nice from our perspective. But then I love the long conversations that you get to have. You started just before COVID. You started at COVID, during COVID. Yeah. And you've done over like 200 episodes. 260,
I think I've recorded.
Which is amazing. You spoke to like all the big electronic DJs around the world. Is there anything that you can pinpoint between the majority of them of their success? Is it literally like that consistency word? Is there anything that, speaking to the top level, that separates them from the mid or the lower level DJs getting into it? No. Like,
everyone, I think there's outliers. There's certain people that have been around for so long that somehow they know how to work it out. And that's, like, I was going to say cheat the system, but it's not. It's working it out, because there's no cheating in this game. And I think we've all seen it when you started as a resident at 16, like, you've seen artists come and go and come and go and come and go. And there's generally always some people that are just consistently there. And I feel like that's the same in every industry, not just music. Just in every industry, there's always somebody that's just constantly there. But realistically, like, I think the thing that sets people apart nowadays is great music, but I don't think that's actually the thing.
Yeah, do you think it's
really
getting past that barrier of hardship, like you mentioned in your own story, where there was a wall and you're going to buy a club in Bristol or whatever, and it's that a normal human being would be like, this ain't working, like let me go and find a job somewhere, because that's easy life. It's that step after, right?
It's that maybe it's that you start something, because I forgot, I was watching a video and it was actually explained it really well, but it's you start something not knowing, you then go down to knowing and going fuck. You then get to the point where it's crash and burn, where you're like, I'm done, and then you start something new.
Yes.
And then you go round that circle.
Yeah, I've seen this.
Where if you go to the crash and burn and go, well, now I know it, all I need to do is work out how to do it. And then it's, okay, you start working it out. You then get to that point where you know everything and you're working it out. And then you get to the point of success. And it's whether or not you're willing to get past that crash and burn stage. But you've also got to understand, there's crash and burn stages every year.
Yes.
There's crash and burn stages at points in your career where I don't know if this is going to take off. Like I'm at it now.
Yeah, we're at it, right? Yeah. Everyone's at it. It never stops.
Never stops, man. And whatever you see on Instagram isn't always necessarily what they're saying, showing. And I think that is the best thing. But like, yeah, there's not one. I think, okay, let's say, let's go to the fashion world. Virgil Abloh, right? Like, he was an outlier. Kanye at the time, like, I don't like, what he's doing now is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Right? But like, his music was outlier.
Yeah, sure.
He was just a level above.
Yeah, there's certain people who you can't explain.
Can't explain.
No.
Even like let's say for instance this world, Deadmau5.
Yeah.
When Deadmau5 came out, he was an absolute outlier.
It's like nobody can do that, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, like, I think nowadays there's not as many outliers. Like Fred again, genius songwriter, genuinely genius songwriter. Yeah. Before he was Fred again, right? Is the music now that he's doing outlier? Is he an outlier? No. His marketing's fucking great. His community, the sense of building community is fucking great.
Insane.
And I like his music a lot, but is it like the world's best music? It's only an opinion, and some people it would be, but no, he's not doing something new. It's not bringing something new to the industry. It's
people just feel like they know him and they're involved.
Exactly.
It's this community, like we touched on the superfan thing, where there's a great story where it was in IMS, and Chasing Status's A&R were talking about how they put together the Brit Awards show, and basically there was this fan was like at all of their shows, and he was in their Discord, and they picked him out, and he became quite popular in the Discord. And then they basically like used him and a few others in the Brit Award thing, and like that's just amazing. Like, it's fucking amazing. Like I say, you don't need thousands of people, you just need a community in like something like a Discord or something.
It's like what Drake's just done.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Sure,
sure. Drake put his album out, and everybody that made a video could have got paid. Right? And I think this is the thing is, and that's what Fred has done on another level. Chasing Status, they're great for doing it now. Like, we grew up with Chasing Status, right? Like, they had moments in the 2000s. They went quiet for a while. They could still always headline festivals. They went quiet. Now look where they're at.
Yeah,
and that's you look at what they're putting out. You look at the content they're putting out. You look at like content of them just playing normal DJ shows, or it does all right. You then look at the content of where they're like in a boiler room-esque, or like their community around them, or they're doing like a pizza thing in New York underneath a bridge where community is. It's a game changer.
What are some of the, I guess, quite unorthodox for, I guess, an artist or electronic music artist to have a regular podcast? It just, there aren't that many that do it.
Yeah.
What are the hidden benefits that have come along with it? I guess when you speak to all these amazing people, you've obviously instantly got a connection. You're speaking to them for an hour or two.
Yeah.
There's that, and then have you found that when you go to shows, people just know you more intimately?
Yeah, it's a really good question, because I think like personally, there's been no like real benefit in that sense of like, it's a lot, this as much as it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like booking, editing, putting it out, social media, like it's no one else is doing it. It's just me. Like my team book occasionally. Alicia does all of the like actual like emails of once they've agreed, the artists have agreed to do it, she then goes and deals with all the details. I've built a lot of relationships, 100%, which again is what this industry is about. But also like you do podcasts with artists that they're coming on for them to benefit.
Sure.
Which I totally respect. I want them to do.
Part of the game.
So then the relationship doesn't necessarily get built because they come on for one thing and then leave, which is absolutely fine. Totally get that. Very transactional. But I think for fans, it's allowed people to understand me a little bit more. And I was telling you beforehand, I was in a green room in the middle of nowhere in somewhere, I won't say where. And one of the resident DJs came up to me and was like, I feel like I know you. Like I've watched every episode. It's like over 260 hours that somebody's like 260 hours with somebody. If you spend 260 hours with somebody, if I spent 260 hours with you, I feel like I'd probably know most.
You'd probably
be
best friends.
Exactly.
Like simple as that.
And that has been very valuable. And I think culturally, the podcast, without blowing smoke up my own ass, I think culturally it's helped the culture of the scene to a certain extent. And realistically, if I can give back to the scene, that's what I can do. In a sense of I'm not asking anything from anyone.
Yeah,
it's just here it is. Go do what you want with it.
Yeah, like you say, it's an interesting medium because you're not like making a podcast and then off the back of it, I'm selling loads of records. It's like we're not like doing a podcast and then you buying our courses or whatever. And there's a to and fro of like, is this in terms of like time spent? Is this like worth it or something? And eventually you just got to ask yourself, is this like right for what we're trying to achieve ultimately? And for us, it's a yes. I guess that's the same for you.
Yeah, it tells a story. I think there's also, I'll be honest, at this moment in time, this year, I'm going really hard on it.
Good.
And for me, there has to be. Now it has to start generating cash.
Cool.
In a sense of if we can't get sponsorships or I can't sell a course myself or do something where it can actually justify its time. Like I loved conversations.
Sure.
I love it. But
it does get to a point.
For me to like, let's say for instance, this month, every Wednesday I'm recording 4 a day. And then it will take another day to edit everything. And I've got to go harder on the edit. So it might take 2 days to record all of that. So then that's 3 days of me not writing music.
Yeah.
And on a business side of things, I have to also think, okay, 3 days of like solid work in front of a laptop. I then just can't go and write music.
If I was your CEO, I'd be like, stop doing that. Go write music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And there's only a certain amount of music you can write as well. But I think it's like that, okay, well, how can I give back to the community? How can I benefit from this in a financial sense? It has to. I've done it for 5 years now.
People get it.
So, yeah, that's where I'm at with the podcast. I love it. It's not stopping. But I've, again, just like my career, I've wanted to stop it so many times.
Yeah. Well, look, please don't stop it because I enjoy listening to it anyway. And it is amazing. What's on? Are you a goal guy? What's on the 2025 goal list, or is it more plans, or is it you're just actively touring loads? But
I was.
Are you a goal guy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was a massive goal guy my whole career until this year, and I wrote a load of goals down, and I was probably in like a really negative headspace. Like this year's been an interesting year, like generally, like mentally and career wise. And I was going through last year's goals because I always like to like evaluate, and I generally try and do, like 6 quarterly or 6 months reviews on that. Do you do this?
Yeah, so we do like the year, big goals, like maybe 3, and then we break them down quarterly, and then in a month, and then we focus on getting rid of the stuff that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you can sort of get focused. And then we have like quarterly meetings. And
yeah.
So
I would be very detailed on. So I'll actually. Do we have time?
No, go for it. Yeah. It's the exact system that we use like as a business. So you got like your year goal, and then we break it down into quarters, and then every quarter we have a meeting to say, did we hit these targets? And they get distributed to different members of the team, sort of thing.
Yeah. So like this is how I set it out. I put music goals, socials, because it's 2 different businesses, podcast, team, label, finances, other businesses I'm working on, and life goals.
Love that.
So those are the years,
your
core things. And I was looking back on last year's goals, 2024, and I'm like, I tick them off when it's done.
Of course.
So this is 2024.
Yeah.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Not many goals are being
probably
ticked.
about 30%.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm looking at this and really fucking myself. Like it's really getting to the point where I'm actually creating goals that are all achievable, but because there's so many, it's like it's actually like, okay, let's say for instance your goal was make $1 million. It's just an easy one. You then break that down of how are you going to get there? Well, you don't really know. So it's like, okay, socials have to be this, gigs have to be this, I have to sell a certain amount of tickets, I have to have a record pop off. You can't control
any of that. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
And I think that's the thing is like, I'm now at this point where I'm still working that out, and it's like, what can I control? We
have a thing called input metrics, where it's like we can control, let's say content, we can control posting 30 times this quarter. We can do that. But I can't tell you if we're going to get 5 million, 1 million, or 10 million views, for example.
Yeah. Do you have like a conversion rate of like, okay, we post one video, because you're selling a product, which I fucking love, right? My product is go listen to my music or go buy a ticket, but there's no metrics of like, I can do a post, and because I'm personally not selling the ticket, I can't go, okay, this post now generates 10 ticket sales or 100 streams, because we don't get that data where I'm so fucking jealous because the systems you can have set up, and I'm pretty sure you would, is okay, people saw this post, it then took them to this link, and then they bought this.
It's so weird you brought that up because, and I'm not even joking, within the last sort of week, we just had a developer create what's called a Looker Studio, which is basically pull all the Google Analytics in a dashboard for you to make that better for us, because our community is so vast across so many platforms, it's been hard to track. And generally in the last couple of weeks, we've just got a new dashboard. However, in terms of like metrics and stuff, we have like a scorecard, like this is our scorecard, that every week we'll track certain metrics, whether that's marketing, whether it's finance, etc. So we've got like a baseline level, and if something drops off somewhere, like that TikTok views, for example, we can flag it for 1 week. We set a baseline level. We want to maintain it. And then if we do well for a few weeks, we set a new baseline level so that everything remaining consistent should keep us at a consistent, a revenue point, for example. But yeah, I mean, that is, we can geek out for hours about data. But that's sort of, I totally get what you're getting at, because it reminds me of when you was on about when I was making music for Dirty Bird. I had like this one goal, like tunnel vision. And I can't tell you how many people I've spoke to who have just had a singular focus that's worked out, because you just get removed the distractions or something. Like there's a million ways to make $1 million.
Exactly.
You have to focus on one of them.
and it's also, you also have to make $1 million. It's also that point of, do you actually want to? Like, do you really want to do that? Like, because what you might have to do to get that might be completely against your artistic journey. Like, do people really want to listen to the music that you're making? Do that many people want to listen to it? Like, you have to be really, really honest with yourself. There's artists out there that are selling extreme amount of tickets that are extremely successful. Are they making the best music? Is that music that they're making? Do you love that? The music you're seeing them play, do you love that? We're in the...
And do you want the life as well? Like, it's not for everybody. Like,
it's not for everyone.
Going around and touring, and especially in the early days when you're not. We had Chapter and Verse on a few weeks ago. Like, he's like, people don't want to travel to America and do 5 shows for no money. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's also the thing, is it goes back to that resident DJ of not playing for money, and I think we're so used to not earning money from this scene. And don't get me wrong, I'm very fortunate. It's been my career for like full time for a long time. But there's also times when you don't earn money and you're flying to bumfuck middle of nowhere just to play some records realistically, and you make no money. But again, that going back to the goals thing, is like, I need to work out what I truly want. And realistically, I'm still working out, and it's almost, for me, it's like, bring it back to square one again. What is that like singular goal? And it's tough because I have a career, I have teams, I have family, I have friends. Like, I'm getting older. I have a podcast that also takes a lot of things. I do a lot of things, and that fucks me. But I also have to work out what is that singular goal, and it's probably going to take me all year to work that out.
Will you come back next year and let us know?
Yeah, let's do it.
I want to see the list and see how many boxes are ticked, or if you just scrapped them all and you have like one.
No,
more.
I generally this year I didn't even set my goal. I sent my goals to my manager and said, we probably shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Like,
great realization.
In a sense of like, he's not sticking to it, I'm not sticking to it.
And then you feel like you failed when you look at it, because it's like, well,
dude,
yeah.
Like genuinely, although like in my career, I achieved so much last year. Like, I released an album.
Yeah.
I did a debut live tour. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, I played Coachella last year.
Well,
like,
congrats, man.
Like, I was Grammy nominated last year. Like, it's fucking crazy because I can list all these things off, but I still feel like an absolute failure.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Because what I had in my head and what I had written down, we didn't get. And I think that's the thing, is like, pipe dream goals are great. I believe in having, I still have a goal that no one will know until I do it. But it's like, and I'm still at the point where I know I can achieve that. However, it's working out how to get that. I've got a family friend that's extremely successful in business, like extremely, but builds and sells businesses for millions and does all that. When I was 18 years old, I sat down with him and I was like, Chris, I need some help. Like, I genuinely need some help. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, I know what I need to do to a certain extent, but I don't know how to kind of walk. I don't know how to achieve these, break this down. Okay, so this is the big goal. And he was like, okay, cool. We're gonna do this for you. Okay, so this is the goal. We then fork that out into loads of little goals, and you just do each step. When you're at the beginning of your career, I think I was a bit older. I think I was 21. I just left Ibiza, and that was what got me to Dirty Bird. And it was like, okay, you need to make this much music a week. You need to send this amount of emails out a week. You need to do that. When it's very, is it macro or micro? I didn't always.
Yeah, the micro, yeah. Micro. The steps, yeah.
When it's very micro, it's like, oh, I've achieved that. Sick.
Easy, yeah.
Easy.
It's the input metrics that you can control. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
And that is it. Is being able to control what we do is so important.
It's because that big goal is so overwhelming that you can't visually, you can't see it happening without them steps.
It doesn't happen.
Exactly.
It doesn't happen. It's like,
yeah.
Okay, not everyone wants to make $1 million, but most people do, if in the grand scheme of things, right? And it's like, people want to make money, and I think everyone should make money. I think everyone should be fucking rich. Like, that's the goal in the grand scheme of things, because it doesn't make life better. It like makes life easier, like, from what I can imagine. But like, how do you get there? And it's the journey that gets you there. And it sounds woo-woo of like enjoying the journey. None of us enjoy the journey. None of us. Like, I've not met a single person to say they're enjoying the journey. Like, come on, man. Like, let's be real.
That's
like,
funny. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, yep.
Like, dude, you guys, what you guys have achieved is amazing, right?
Yeah.
None of you, I can guarantee you, none of you and sat down and go, the last month was so good. I loved it. I loved recording 100 videos and working out TikTok and working out social media and trying to sell more courses. None of you did. Like, I've never gone. The only time when I genuinely love it is, well, let's say for instance, I did it last year. I did a series of parties, which was lead up before the album. Free parties in weird locations. So we did a laundromat party, we did a subway station, we did a fire station.
Sick.
And we did one more, which
saw the laundromat one.
Dude, best show of my life.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I'm playing Coachella and then I'm playing the laundromat set. But what was different about it? There was 250 people. So we did the sign up. It's a free party. We had 1,500 sign ups within the first week. Like, first come, first serve. The doors open at 9 o'clock. I got there about 8 o'clock. By 7 o'clock, there was a queue around the building. I was like, we're not going to fit all these people in here. Like, I'm sorry, but we're not. It's 200, max 250. It's probably like double the size of this room. Tiny fucking place. Great. With laundromats all going at the same time. Washing machine, sorry.
Yeah.
Why was it so good? The speakers sounded shit. The speakers cut out once. There was sweat dripping off the walls. Everyone was around. And what was it? It was a community. At Coachella, it was like, I loved it, but it was nobody necessarily. I always say at certain festivals, or all festivals, no one's really there to see you. Everyone's there to see everyone.
Everyone, yeah. That makes sense.
And
which is fine.
Which is absolutely
makes sense. Like, yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I got paid to play Coachella.
Of course.
And I paid to play the laundromat. But I'd pay to play the laundromat any day of the week. Because it was giving back. Like, everyone talks about that. Going to New York, everyone's like, laundromat. Laundromat. And I think that's the difference, is like, it's community building.
Yeah.
And it's how do you give back to the community, and how do you build something out of that community. Zulan, I don't know if you've seen Zulan.
I haven't, no.
Just this girl that's just doing that, and she's blowing the fuck up. And it's so cool to see what she's doing. Just like everything's like Google Doc sign up.
All right. Okay.
I'm coming to your city. Do you want to come to a party?
Oh, nice.
And I don't know how big. I know she's selling tickets now, but like, she started really small. And that is the amazing thing. It's like what you guys are doing. You can buy a controller. Like, I've seen her play on a controller on these sets. Buy a controller, start a party with somebody.
Get your mates round.
Film it. Doesn't have to be an expensive camera. Film it. Make sure the audio is good. Edit it right. You're fucking laughing.
And rinse and repeat.
Do that over and over again and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
But you're not going to enjoy it. So
this has been an amazing chat, man. One of my favourites we've ever done. It's been I've been looking forward to it since we booked this. Good luck with the rest of the year, man. Like, we'd love to support you in any way in what you're doing. But enjoy your shows this week. I know you're going to America. But yeah, continue the podcast, mate, because I enjoy listening to it. And we'll continue to...
I'll just send them to you directly.
Yeah, please. Thanks a lot, mate.
Dude, thank you so much, man.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.